think about how these events have evolved from, the days when Steve Jobs was very much large and in charge?
Interesting times for the company. You see more influencers, more
videographers, models, actors, and actresses.
Yeah, and so I think it shows that the company is a much more mainstream brand than it was even in Steve Jobs' days. So definitely signs of a trillion-dollar company. I think what has changed is these ruthless editing of the products is gone. The eclectic marketing of the products is gone. We see a lot of gloss, we see a lot of sheen, but we don't see the simplicity of marketing and honest message you would get during the days of Steve.
So is that not a good thing? Or is it because you're reaching a more diverse set of customers?
I don't know, but I think iPhone XS Max, Steve would have not allowed that.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem with Apple right now, is that they have to come up with marketing their products in a way that it appeals to everybody and not just to a few people. So again, signs of a trillion-dollar company with trillion-dollar problems.
Tim Cook on stage talked about the scale of iOS, the scale of Apple today. Take a listen to this that he had to say.
iOS is not just the world's most advanced mobile operating system, it's the most personal. We're about to hit a major milestone. We are about to ship our 2 billionth iOS device.
2 billion, he says, iOS devices out there now. How much room is there for growth with all of these niches?
They have to come up with new products. I think, as we've seen with the watch, I think they come up with products. It takes a little bit longer for those products to become many billion-dollar businesses. And so they have definitely challenges to find new niches and grow. But I think they can. We've seen the AirPods go from being like an ugly curiosity to being a mainstream hit product, and that other people are copying it now. So I think you've seen that with the watch as well. So you'll see them keep trying all these new ideas. You see, the core of the company is still very strong. The core of the company, which is ruthlessly focused on hardware and inside the device innovation, is very strong. That hasn't changed and probably gotten better since Steve's days. They have invested ruthlessly in chips and other technologies. They've done a great job of that. You see, that is the ultimate gift of Steve Jobs. I think that's the last thing he did for this company, to put them on the safe track of building great products.
We saw them showcase new apps in there, a new generation of apps, new AR features. AR, we expect could be perhaps the next big platform for Apple. Does that make for a completely different experience, or is it just an improved experience?
I think this is a great next step, but my main takeaway from this event, this company is struggling to market itself properly. You look at the watch, they are pushing, the ECG and the fall features. They're not for young people, but the ads are all about young people running and biking and doing all those things with the watch. And just wait, who's in charge here? Because that's an old people's product feature, right? I have a heart disease. I'm older, and I think that makes sense for me. But how does it make sense for a 25-year-old? And I think that's where the marketing challenges are showing up for this company. I think if we were to focus on what is the problem for Apple, that would be, how do you tell your story going forward? I think we've seen they can build great products, and they will continue to build great products. How will they tell the story now that you can't tell the difference between X and XS? Why do I care? Why should my mom care? Why should my friends care? And I think they need to make people care more about their products. It's a marketing challenge for a company which is, throughout its history, has been great about marketing.
Right, and spent so much time thinking about how they tell the story. It's Tim Cook's 7th year at the helm of Apple. You talk about a company with trillion-dollar problems. What do you think the next 7 years of Apple and Tim Cook's leadership look like?
I think if Tim Cook did what he's been doing, that's pretty good. Like, I don't think we should ask for more from a CEO. He's a decent human being. He looks after his people. He's looking after the legacy of the company. He's returned so much shareholder value. He has done right by its customers, which is you and I, by not selling our data to somebody else. He understands that at a humanistic level, this company has a moral obligation. I think he's a great CEO. He should be doing this for another 5 years at the very least.
What about the company?
If I was that smart about forecasting the future, I would be running one, right?
So, do you think the next big innovation for Apple, is it these health features? Is it AR? Like, what is the big platform that you watch?
See, this is the problem. Like, the big innovation was inside the phone, the A12 Bionic chip. That's the best chip for smartphones or any other computing platform right now. They built beautiful internals of this device, and how do you tell that story?
Right.
So I think they are pushing the envelope. Look at what they've done with the device. The hardware of the watch inside is beautiful. And how do you go and tell this to people, and how do you make people care for it? I think maybe those influencers will.